We aren't going to be outside today because the air quality isn't that great today. If you've been outside and taken a deep breath, probably didn't feel so great in the last few days. And so we're going to talk about why that is and what changes are happening in the fall and what the forest and what nature is doing to recover. And we're going to do some other things to kind of help bring that spirit alive as well today. So we're actually going to start, because we can't be outside in nature today. We're going to sing a little bit of a nature song to kind of pretend like we are out in nature. And I'm going to teach it to you, and we're going to keep ourselves on mute because Zoom makes it so it echoes and everything. But I'll teach you the chorus. And if you don't remember the chorus, don't worry about it. The most important thing is at the end, you're going to howl at the moon like a coyote, which I know Savannah can do because she already made it happen. So the way that the chorus goes is it goes, go out in the rain and listen to the thunder. All right, we just got to count on each other singing, knowing that we're all singing. So everyone go ahead. Out in the rain and listen to the thunder. Perfect. And you can dance around for this too. And then it goes, lie down in the grass and watch the clouds roll by. Lie down in the grass and watch the clouds roll by. Reach up to the stars and set your mind to wonder. Reach up to the stars and set your mind to wonder of all there is to do in life and all there is to try. Of all there is to do in life and all there is to try. And soon you'll be singing to the moon. And soon you'll be singing to the moon. And that's when you howl like a coyote and go, oh! All right, so I'm gonna sing some different parts of it and you can dance around a little bit too, and then we'll sing that chorus together. Down in the mud I wiggle my toes, in every flower I sink my nose. Round and round this world goes, I'm singing to the moon. I hop the creek from rock to rock, I hug a tree and I hear it talk. I take a bug out for a walk, I'm singing to the moon. All right, all together. Go out in the rain and listen to the thunder. Lie down in the grass and watch the clouds go by. Reach up to the stars and set your mind to wonder of all there is to do in life and all there is to try. And soon you'll be singing to the moon. I crawl along the forest floor, take a peek in the mole's front door. I eat from a snail's grocery store, I'm singing to the moon. I take a swim with my froggy pals, I hoot a sound with an old barn owl. Coyote and I, you can hear us howl, we're singing to the moon. All right, all together. Go out in the rain and listen to the thunder. Lie down in the grass and watch the clouds roll by. Reach up to the stars and set your mind to wonder of all there is to do in life and all there is to try. And soon you'll be singing to the moon. You can just sing la 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 for sure. You definitely can. Down where the ocean touches land, I like to roll in the warm white sand. Hey, Mr. Crab, let me shake your hand. I'm singing to the moon. Come explore this world with me. There's so much to do, so much to see. Come right in and soon you'll be singing to the moon. Get ready with your singing la 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 or whatever you'd like. Go out in the rain and listen to the thunder. Lie down in the grass and watch the clouds go by. Reach up to the stars and Set your mind to wonder of all there is to do in life and all there is to try. And soon you'll be singing to the moon. Oh! Excellent. Awesome. Thank you all for joining me. That's one of my favorite songs to think about all the different ways that we can experience nature. And we've experienced a lot of nature so far this fall. And this year, there's been a lot of things happening in nature. So just about a week ago, we actually switched seasons. We switched from, what season were we in before? It kind of feels like we're still in this season because it's so hot, but we switched from summer. Yeah, exactly. We switched from summer and now we're in, what season are we in now? Does anybody know? We're in the fall. Yep, we're in the fall or the autumn, sometimes it's called. So we just switched our seasons. And when we think about fall, what are some of the things that we think about when we think about switching from summer to fall? What are some things that we think we might see in the fall? What are some different stuff that there might be around? And you can type it into the chat if you want to share some of the things you might see in the fall. Yeah, we are in the fall. Does anyone notice anything outside? Yeah, leaves. There are definitely leaves that are changing and they're falling for sure. That's the biggest thing that we see that's happening right now. Also, you might notice, yeah, it's hopefully getting colder. Yeah, hopefully getting colder. Animals are getting thicker fur. We're maybe starting to put on sweaters hopefully soon. Yeah, so the fall is a time of change. Yes, it gets windy. The squirrels are getting food. Oh man, you are all nailing it and getting so many of the different things. So I'm going to show you some pictures of some different things that, that we see in the fall. And actually, let me show you this right here is a picture of the East Bay Regional Park District. And I'm going to show you a lot of changes that are happening right here in this part of the parks up at Redwood. So in the fall, you can see that there are, and you can keep writing comments and questions too, but you can see this is what we normally think of, is we think of lots and lots of beautiful leaves. Now around here, our leaves are not necessarily that brightly colored. Where I'm from in Michigan, that's what the leaves can look like there. But we do have some bright colored leaves. We have, does anybody know what plant this is? I'll give you a hint. You do not want to touch it. Yeah, poison oak. Yeah, so some of our most beautiful fall colors are actually poison oak. They're bright red. So we have these beautiful leaves and, oh, and another leaf that we see a lot of is called a big leaf maple. So everyone stretch out your arms really, really wide. Big leaf maples can actually be as big as your face. So if you take your hand and stretch your hand all the way out and put it in front of your face, that's like how big these leaves can get. They get super large and they're one of my favorite leaves to toss up into the air. Now, someone else mentioned, a couple of people mentioned acorns, and acorns are really, really important in the fall as well. So this time of year, the squirrels and different creatures are collecting the acorns. So you can see our squirrel there is collecting acorns, chipmunks, and even acorn woodpeckers are gathering up the acorns. Yeah, exactly, a woodpecker. You can knock like you're a woodpecker on the table or the seat next to you. Yeah, so they do put them in the tree. So what acorn woodpeckers will do is they'll gather up acorns and they'll put them into these dead trees. And these are called granaries. And they'll shove like thousands and thousands of them into these trees. And they'll go back and sometimes they'll eat the acorns, but sometimes bugs actually move in. And when they move in, they'll actually eat the bugs that are living inside the acorns. So it's like a 2-for-1 special. So yeah, they definitely eat them. And these are really common in the East Bay, this kind of woodpecker. So it's a time of storing food. Sometimes humans like to eat a lot of food too. Maybe they're eating, you know, apple cider donuts, or maybe they're eating, you know, drinking pumpkin spice lattes. We're packing on our own fall weight as well. And then during this time of year, this is also when the redwood trees they've got these green cones that hold the seeds. And this is when they're dropping the seeds. And you can see that's actually my hand right there. And I'm holding a single redwood seed. And that single redwood seed can grow those magnificent redwood trees up in the redwood forest. And when the cones are empty, it's this color here, these kind of like brown. And so there's hundreds and thousands of those seeds. Now, another thing that's happening this time of year, on the left-hand side, you can see that everyone makes some antlers with your hands. You can spread out, make some antlers with your hands. The one on the left, it has kind of furry looking antlers. And in the fall, the antlers become not fur anymore. The deer actually rubs it against trees and different things, gets that velvety kind of furry stuff off of it. So that way they can compete and they can fight to make sure that they've got a mate so they can have young. So their antlers change a little bit. And another really amazing thing that some of us have seen together before is that the ladybugs start to come to the redwoods as well. Yeah. And if you were to guess how many ladybugs there are in that picture, what do you think? 400. Yeah, I actually don't know. We could spend the rest of this time counting. Yeah, so there's like a bajillion ladybugs on there, and they hang out in the redwoods. They hang out in the redwoods all fall and even into the winter. Yeah, so ladybugs are really awesome. I see that Naima said that she found one at her house yesterday and put it on a plant. Yeah, they eat a lot of bugs that kind of can attack our plants. So ladybugs are a really important insect. So another thing that happens during the fall is we've got fire season. And fire season started a little bit early this year. And this picture right here is called the fire triangle. And it's the things that we need in order to make fire. So everyone take a big deep breath in and breathe out. And then everyone rub your hands together to make some heat between your hands. And then everybody point to something around you that's made of paper or wood. Yeah, so those three things plus a chemical reaction are what make a fire. We're gonna learn a little bit more about fire and how fire works, because fire can seem a little bit scary, and we're gonna talk about how the redwoods are adapted to the fire to survive. But the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do some experiments with the fire triangle. So does anybody remember what's one thing that we have to have in order to have a fire? Who can type it into the chat? What's one thing we need for fire? Yeah, we need fuel. So we've got our candle right here is our fuel. And yeah, so we've got oxygen. Yeah, so there's oxygen all around. And then we also need it to have heat. So it's, yeah, so we've got fuel, we've got heat, and we've got oxygen. And for those families right now who you're raising your hand, I see that you want to share. You can type in the chat. We're not going to unmute right now, but you can type in the chat if you can, or have an adult do it. I just can't manage unmuting and muting. So what we're going to do is I'm going to light this on fire. I'm going to use, rather than a match, I'm going to use this little thing, and it has a little bit of fuel inside of it. And I'm going to light our candle. And I want to let you know that I have water here with me so I can put out any fires. So don't worry, I'm being very safe. So let me move that a little bit closer. So you can see we've got our fire right here. So we know that a fire needs fuel. So we've got fuel, and the wick, that little part that's sticking up, that's part of what is the fuel. But another part of the fuel is this wax right here. So what do you think would happen? What is fuel made of? Good question. What do you all think fuel is made of? What are some things, fuel, what can burn? What could burn? Ink. Yeah, ink on paper. Gas can burn. Wood can burn. Wax can burn. Paper can burn. Yeah, a lot of things can be fuel. Pretty much if it's dry enough, it'll burn. So what I'm going to do is I have a piece of tin foil, and it has this little like gap in it, and I'm going to put that around the wax, around the wick, and I'm going to cut it off from the wax. I want you to watch the flame and see what happens to it. Is it getting bigger or is it getting smaller? Compared to when and it just went out. So yeah, it got smaller. So because I was taking away the wax from this part right here, it couldn't keep burning. So we took away fuel. It's kind of like if you burn a whole bunch of stuff in the forest, if there's nothing else left to burn, the fire is gonna go out. So I'm gonna light this on fire again. So we've shown how fuel is super important. What should we get rid of next? Should we get rid of oxygen or should we get rid of heat? What do you think? Heat, okay. So I have an ice pack here, and let's see. Oh, I have an ice pack, and I've got a knife that's cold, and I'm gonna hold it against it for a second here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this cold metal against the wick here, and that cold, we're gonna see if the cold takes away the fire. Let me just hold it for a second here. Fire, 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 fire. Okay, you ready? I'm gonna put it up against here. I'll tell you, it sizzled a little bit. What happened to the flame when I put the cold? It's not as cold anymore because I put it so close to it. What's happening? Yeah, it's getting smaller, but when I take it away, look what happens. When it gets cold, it gets small, and then it comes back. So heat is really, really important. Oh, I forgot. I forgot to do something else with the fuel. So the wax is fuel, and something that can actually happen, and this doesn't always work, but something that sometimes happens is I can blow out this candle, and when I blow it out, if I light the smoke, it sometimes will travel back down to the wick and relight. You can't have a campfire if it's cold. You can have a campfire if it is cold. It just has to stay hot enough in the fire. So you can, at a certain point, it might be really hard. So I'm gonna try this. This doesn't always work, but I'm gonna blow it out, and then I'm gonna see if I can light the smoke, and then it goes back to the wick. It didn't work that time. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so we're gonna try. We got rid of our heat. We got rid of our fuel. What haven't we gotten rid of yet? Oxygen. Okay, how should I get rid of the oxygen? Obviously I blew on the candle, and that's one way to get rid of the oxygen. I'm just like blowing all of it away. But what's another way we maybe could do that? Rain? Yeah, rain can be something that can kind of like make it so it gets soggy and everything. I could put water on it. I'm not gonna do that right now because I don't wanna get this whole place super messy. I'm gonna take the oxygen away. Blanket, that is a way to do it. Yes, a blanket. Sometimes they use chemicals too that kind of like just suffocate the fire. So sometimes you'll see like helicopters flying over and they drop stuff on fires, and that's to suffocate the fire. And actually, Jamie is here with us, and she's actually a trained firefighter, which is pretty awesome. So she could probably tell us even more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this over top of the candle and watch what happens to the flame. Did you see that? It's out. I'll do that again one more time. So it used up all of the oxygen inside the cup and it went out. Try that out. And it doesn't take very long for that to happen. So pretty incredible how fast all this fire stuff can happen. Ooh, and I just got some wax on my hands. So what I'm gonna do next is, so we've had all of this fire that's been happening, and all of this fire can seem a little bit scary because we've got a lot of smells and the smoke is pretty bad. So I've got with me a jar, another jar, this one's bigger, and there's a little bit of water in it. Can you see that? So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna shake up this water and I'm going to light a piece of paper on fire. I'm gonna crumple it up a little bit and I'm gonna light it on fire. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it inside of this jar. And when I put it inside of that jar, it's gonna heat up inside of the jar. And when you think about water when it gets hot, where does it go? Where does water go when it gets hot? Maybe on a hot day, or even on your stove if you're like making tea or something. Yeah, it evaporates. So it goes up into the sky after, and then yes, exactly, Savannah, it becomes clouds. So we're actually going to make a cloud inside of this jar. But when we make it inside of this jar, there's gonna be some fuel. And that fuel is gonna make it so our cloud isn't just water. It's also going to be some of the stuff that we don't want to put in our lungs. So the reason, don't worry, I will be careful. I've done this before. So this time, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an ice pack on top, and that's going to cause it to condense and become a cloud. So it'll evaporate up, and it'll become a cloud. And we'll see how this goes. So I'm going to start off by putting, I'm gonna light this on fire. Can I move the screen up? Is that better? Oh, that match went right out. So do you see inside of here, not just smoke that's happening, it's actually a smoky cloud. So you can't even see me through it. If this were like a cloud, you would be able to see me a lot better. Yes, there was water in there. I put water right at the very beginning. I put some water in so it could condense to make a cloud. So this cloud is, it's a little bit tricky to see, but this cloud is kind of grayish, and it might be kind of similar to the way that you've seen the sky. So the difference between a smoke and cloud. So you notice how I put the, I put inside of here fuel, I burned something. So it's the fuel, it's the burned stuff that makes it different than just a cloud. If it were just water, then it would be like more white and fluffy and if you smelled it, it wouldn't really smell like anything. If I were to open this right now, it would smell like the air has smelled on the very worst days that we've had lately. So this is basically what we're taking into our lungs when these fires are happening, is we're taking in condensed fuel that is on air particles. So it's kind of like breathing a bunch of smog. So it's not great for us, but the thing is the forest actually has some adaptations. And I want to show you really quickly just a few other pictures. I know we're already getting through our time, but I want to make sure to show you a few more pictures of what fire can look like in the redwoods. So fire in the redwoods is a natural thing. It's been happening for thousands and thousands of years. In fact, the native Ohlone people who live in this area and have lived here for a long time used to start fires to help protect the, to help cultivate the redwood forest. Redwood trees are amazing because they actually can survive fire. A tree like this, even though it's burning so hot, will still survive. As long as the outside bark and the growth layer is there, it'll continue to grow. So this is what a tree would look like after it's scarred and it's got, you know, kind of burn marks all over it. And then just the next season, these are the sprouts that come from a redwood tree. So little tiny baby redwoods come after the fire, growing from the around the base of the original redwood tree. So something that I want to emphasize is a lot of these fires might seem really, really scary because, you know, they're burning really hot and they're really close to homes, but the forest has adapted over time to be able to survive these fires, and these trees can survive. Things are a little bit different now because we've got climate change and things are hotter and drier than they've ever been, but the trees are working to adapt and survive as best they can, just like humans need to learn to adapt in the climate that we live in now as well. So what I'm gonna do next is we're gonna do, I'm gonna turn it over in just a moment to Dr. Razzani, but before I do that, we're gonna hope that there might be some rain soon. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have us all participate in a rain making activity. So what I want everyone to do is when I do something, I want you to do it too. So when I rub my hands together, I want you to rub your hands together. And yes, I think we can unmute right now. Yeah, that's a good idea. We can unmute right now because we're gonna try and make a rainstorm all together to bring the rains to California, which we so desperately need. So you can rub your hands together. And then I want you to snap your fingers. And then rub your hands. I think we're trying to get you unmuted. I can edit this out, Moya. All right, and snap those fingers. We'll just imagine that it's happening. And then I want you to clap your hands. And then clap louder. And then if you've got a table or something next to you, start banging that table. And then stomping your feet. And then, so we've made our own rainstorm, and I'm gonna turn it over to Dr. Razzani. And I want to thank you for learning a little bit more about fire and how nature adapts to fire and how we as humans also need to adapt to fire. And hopefully you learned a few new things about what makes fire.
Morgan, that was just unbelievable. Thank you so much. I can't believe they don't teach us about fire all the time. Thank you for teaching us. I'm just going to say this because I'm a doctor, but guys, don't do that at home unless your parents are doing it with you and want you to. But otherwise, that's kind of a naturalist thing to do. But I'm going to be introducing our special guest, Naima. We had planned a little section to talk about culture and fire. I do want each of you, let me just take a few minutes to ask, does anybody have a culture here that has a belief about fire that wants to share that? Maybe while you think about that, I'll tell you that in my culture, fire is extremely sacred. And actually, fire is something that is thought to cleanse you and give you an opportunity to start anew. And actually, once a year, we actually jump through fire, which is another thing that I don't want anyone else to do, unless you come with me, and we'll do it with you. But even though I know the last few days have been, or weeks have been very hard and sad, and even though we are absolutely praying for rain and going to work on rain, I'm going to invite all of us each right now to think about one thing that we want to cleanse from ourselves and make anew for ourselves, since the earth is giving us fire. Just one thing in gratitude that you hope to leave behind and step into a new tomorrow. And I also want to thank the ocean for absorbing all of this smoke so that we can breathe. I want to thank the wind for blowing it away. I want to thank the earth for recycling that air and for helping us heal. And I want each of you to have an amazingly beautiful childhood, knowing that your earth is beautiful and strong and loves you. And with that, I'm going to pass this to one of the best healers that I know, who's an artist, Naima. If you can close us out.
Oh, thank you so much. That was beautiful, New Sheen. And Morgan, thank you so much. I wish you were my science teacher when I was growing up. So everybody, it's so good to be back with you all. And those of you who I haven't met, my name is Naima. I'm a singer and songwriter, composer, and I really love to invite you all when I'm singing to act out the words, to move around, you know, let it out in your body if you feel led. I know, yep. Savannah is always, is it Valerie or Savannah? Both of y'all, yeah, are always ready to, yes, I see everybody getting up. And also, I also invite you, if you're tired, you get to just close your eyes and listen. So this is a come as you are moment. So I'm gonna sing a couple songs. The first one I wanted to introduce is called Backwater Blues. It is by an incredible blues singer, feminist blues singer named Bessie Smith. From a long line of incredible foundation, like really laying the foundation of music as a part of the African-American blues tradition, which honestly everyone in this place benefits from. So for me, it's important to always give that homage to where music's from. And so, you know, she wrote this song in 1927 about a big flood that happened. And so I know we're not trying to call in so much rain that it becomes a flood. However, I thought it would be just interesting to sing a blues song and really, like, you know, you all can write your own blues. If you're sick of staying in the house, if you're sick of this smoggy air, sing a blues about it. And, you know, even if the words are heavy, there's something strange that happens. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the blues, but in case you're not, you know, there's something that just feels really good about singing about things that are just hard to deal with. You know what I mean? And we get to all benefit from this incredible blues tradition by learning about it. So this is a song by Ms. Bessie Smith. It's called Backwater Blues. And there's a lot of incredible lyrics that have to do with nature and houses. So I would welcome a complete acting out of all the words you can. Even if some of the words are sad, maybe it's okay to express some of that. You know what I mean? Okay, I already see you twirling around. Here we go. Sorry, one second. Here we go. Here we go. When it rains 5 days and the skies turn dark as night. And let me make sure the levels are right. When it rains 5 days and the skies turn dark as night. Then troubles taking place in the lowlands at night. I woke up this morning, can't even get out of my door. Uh-oh. I woke up this morning, can't even get out of my door. There's been enough trouble to make a poor girl wonder where she wants to go. Then they rowed a little boat about 5 miles across the pond. We're rowing a boat. Then they rowed a little boat about 5 miles across the pond. So I packed all my clothes, threw them in, and they rowed me along. Here we go. When it thunders and lightning, and when the wind begins to blow. When it thunders and lightning, when the wind begins to blow. There's thousands of people ain't got no place to go. Then I went up and stood upon some high, old lonesome hill. Then I went and stood upon some high, old lonesome hill. Then I looked down on the house where I used to live. We're gonna do verse 1 again. When it rains 5 days and the skies turn dark as night. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. When it rains 5 days and the skies turn dark as night. When it rains 5 days and the skies turn dark as night. Then trouble's taking place. Then trouble's taking place in the lowlands. I said then trouble's taking place in the lowlands. I said the trouble's taking place in the lowlands at night. Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you all so much for bringing that dancing energy and moving around. We are gonna also now, this is a song to bring in some water. It's a song I wrote about a river, but it's not just any river. It's not just a river you might see in the earth. It's the river inside you. Do you know that you have a river inside yourself? So when we forget and when we're really wanting water, let's access this water that's inside ourselves, okay? So this one's called River Inside You. Take a minute to move from the river inside you. Take a minute to move from the river inside you. Sometimes it feels I'm going nowhere, held captive by the world's highs and lows. But I know none of it can really define me. So it's time to touch the water down in my soul. Oh, gotta remember these hard times, they come and go. So hold on and let love flow. Oh, take a minute to move from the river inside you. Take a minute to move from the river inside you. Inside who? Yeah, 'cause sometimes I wake up try to run away from my fears. Oh, but I find myself running in the arms of things that just try to keep me numb. Oh, but I know the gift is in my wounds to find my freedom. So hold on and let love flow, flow, flow. Take a minute to move from the river inside you. Take a minute to move from the river inside you. So you're gonna repeat after me. Go deep down. Go deep down. Find the river in you. But wait until you feel the cool water, until you are deep within. Take a minute to move from the river inside you. Take a minute to move from the river inside you. Now pretend you're a river and get all fluid like, yeah, feel the flow of the river. It's coming. Feel the flow of the river coming. Inside you. Awesome. Yay! Do we have time for one more, or should we close? One more?
I think you're good for one more.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. We are going to close with another song that we've done before, actually. And this is called What a Wonderful World. And it's by one of my favorite artists, Louis Armstrong, composer, trumpeter. He wrote so many songs that we all get to benefit from. And so this is What a Wonderful World. And this one has a lot of words in nature. So you guys are gonna have a lot to be able to act out and really think about as we're in our houses and we can't go outside, we can bring the outdoors inside with song, right? So here we go. An earring fell. Okay, here we go. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yay! Thank you everybody so much. So much. You all give such incredible energy and love. And just remember, that's always there inside of you. And we get to even see it magnified more when we get to see each other, you know? So these calls and these walks and nature virtual walks are incredible. So thank you so much for allowing me to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Naima. It was wonderful to have you with us, and it was great to dance with all of you and to explore and learn a little bit more about the resilience within each of us. And we're part of nature, so that resilience in us is the resilience out there in nature and in the trees as well. So thank you all so much. And also, we are gonna hopefully have an outing next month in person. We'll get more details to you about that and how that's gonna work, because it won't work exactly the same. But we'll get you more information on that, and also continue to still be present in other ways for you all as well. And Dr. Zani, you have anything to add as we close out?
No, how could I add anything? Thank you, Eve. I know that I asked everyone to think about their culture and fire, and if you want to think about that, we can talk about it next time. And I hope we get to see each other in person next month. Thank you each. Thank you. Thank you, Moya, for organizing.
Have a wonderful day, everyone.
And bye.
Thank you.
Bye.